And now up next, we have a panel discussion. As startups scale, changes often outpace solutions. How do you keep up when your system, processes, or tech starts to lag behind your ambition? What's the secret to tackling lingering issues without slowing down the process? In this session, Tech Debt and Growing Pains, Fixing What's Broken While Moving Fast, our panelists will dive into real-world strategies for addressing bottlenecks, streamlining operations, and keeping growth on track, all while maintaining the speed that drives success. So let's have a warm welcome for our moderator, Chris Burns, CEO and CSO of Techie Gurus, and panelist Rohit Gupta, the founder and head solution of Identiqa Consulting Inc., and Dr. Trina Wilson, owner and CEO of Life Counseling and Assessment Center. Hi, thank you guys.
I don't think the other panelist is here, so it's just going to be Dr. Trina and me. I'm Chris Burns.
And I'm Dr. Trina with Life Counseling and Assessment Center.
She's not technical, and I am, so this is going to be a fun conversation. I run Techie Gurus. I run a cybersecurity and technology company for small and medium businesses. We help them develop security and technology plans, so tech debt is part of that. Right. Ones that they should have that they don't have today. So, and what do you do?
I run a counseling center, and we do a lot of interfacing with different companies. And I am not tech savvy at all, and I believe that's the product that I'm bringing today is what do we do in those tight places?
Okay.
And we're going to go from there.
All right, we're going to shake this up a little bit then. Let's go with what tech debt is. Tech debt is when you move really fast and you outpace your technology, right? So I deal with a lot of manufacturers and things like that, and they just don't upgrade. So the last speaker was really good about talking about legacy systems.
Right.
They will burn you.
Yes.
At the end of the day. So how do you guys handle your technology?
We currently utilize a tech company that comes in because I am the person who wants to hold on to the old system. Okay. So I am the person who does not want to merge, and I don't want to learn, and I don't want to do all of the things. But that's the wisdom that we bring is by we bring in a company that can do all of those things.
So who's ultimately accountable for technology in your company then?
Oh, I'm responsible for it because I am the founder and I have a problem with control, right? And so, because I want to hold on to the legacy, the legacy that he spoke about, right? I don't want to utilize or lose any of those files or information or data on my previous patients, and I because that's what it is dear to me. But companies like you come in and help us understand that we don't have to lose anything, that we need to upgrade and we need to move forward and we need to integrate and do better.
How often do you have those conversations?
I've been made to have those conversations more frequently than I like because the system is now slowing down because it's too old. So I am now having those conversations probably quarterly.
Okay. That's pretty good. I would say quarterly or every 6 months at least. Annual's too long. That's just too long.
It's much too long. I've had too many crashes. And I want everybody here to understand, please listen. Do not follow my direction.
So what she's saying is her credit card has a high balance.
Absolutely.
Protect that, yeah. Because that's really what, you're here? Oh, yeah, come on out. Yeah. Rohit's here. All right.
Good.
Grab a mic.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
It's on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about this. I was told it's 10:15. My name is Rohit. I'm co-founder for Identiqa Technologies Private Limited. It's basically a system integration organization working in network, data center, security, cloud, and open source. So that's what we do. It's a bootstrapped organization, 3 founders.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about tech debt to you? What does it mean to you?
Yeah. I've been talking to a lot of people and especially founders. And what they are skeptical about is, do I invest on day one in tech? My submission is, and it's coming from my own learnings, is you should invest in tech, but not too much. I mean, if I have to put it, it's a very thin line. You need to be on top of numbers, always. right? Without tech, you don't have that. And you need to not invest in a lot of things, what we call as tech sprawl, but you need to invest in tech. And that's a little bit of debt you should always carry.
To that point, though, a lot of companies just buy a bunch of tech, right? So when you talk about tech sprawl, that leads to more tech debt down the road, right? Because you still have to manage that.
Right. So you need to avoid the sprawl,
Yep.
but you need to have a debt, is what I'm trying to say.
So how do you manage speed? Because founders, they want to move fast,
We do.
right?
Yes,
but
we do.
But you also need to slow down, take a breath,
Yeah.
and manage that. So how do you do that with your customers?
Oh, so see, as a founder, you want to be on top of the business. You don't want to be into operations, right? And having any tech. So for example, I use only 2 stack in my organization. One is Zoho and one is Microsoft, right? And everything works around that. I have done a lot of integrations within this stack only.
Okay.
Right? So if I have to say what are my payables, what are my receivables, at any given point of time, I have that kind of visibility, which helps me manage my finances, right? Being bootstrapped, obviously you are short of money always.
Always.
Right? So that helps you do a lot of planning. It helps you avoid last minute hassles as well, right? You don't have a credit limit, you don't have enough cash, because of it you are losing an opportunity as well. So yeah, so that's where I think I'm coming from as a personal experience.
When was the last time you talked about your technology debt? You said quarterly, you review quarterly. When was the last time that conversation was had?
Actually, I had that conversation maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm implementing a new product, a new program for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I needed to try to figure out how to do that in a more effective and efficient way.
Okay. Now, you deal with personal information, obviously.
I do.
running a clinic, right?
And
So-
the HIPAA violations and all of the things.
Oh, man. All right.
Yeah.
So cybersecurity is a conversation as well.
That's definitely a conversation that we have all the time.
Okay. How often is that conversation? Every quarter? or-
I have that conversation probably more than quarterly because I have patients that I see. And most of what we do is we are visually, we have a virtual platform, right? So we see people internationally.
Oh, cool.
And those rules are different than the rules in the States. So everybody has to be in compliance and it's confusing, right? So I have to rely on my tech guys to kind of help me out with that, making sure that I am in compliance with that. Based on the platforms that we're utilizing. So I have to have that conversation more than I would like to have because when I have conversations with you guys, it delays my productivity for today.
Do you get legal involved?
I have legal involved,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yes,
Good,
we have legal involved, making sure that we are following all the rules. Because I don't want to say, but my tech guy said, but I thought they had that covered. I don't want to do that to you. So yes,
No,
we do
no.
have a legal team as well.
That's awesome. What would you think would be the most common form of tech debt for somebody that's coming to you?
Impulsive buy.
Impulsive buyer?
Right. So, see, what would happen is, obviously, running a business, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You would have a compliances, and then you would have security around
That's
that
right.
as well, around PII solution, right? I'm a tech guy in the company, right? So, I can kind of relate to what you were saying, right? So, you would buy some solution
Right.
for security. You would buy some solution for your main application, and then you would try to work all this together, right? And that is what I'm saying. You focus on your use case, what you want out of your technology, and then decide what 2 or 3 things works for me,
Okay.
and how they talk to each other, right? So that's where I'm saying. So build a workflow around it. Build a workflow and then have the technology pieces fit there instead of being the other way around. That you buy something and then you build a workflow on top of it.
Yeah, that's probably what I've been doing.
What do you think about life cycle planning? Because that life cycle planning for technology, that's one of the things I run into a lot with companies is they, like we talked about,
Yeah.
older technology and things like that, legacy systems, they may not have upgraded in 10 years. So now they have to go through that process, right? And that's really a failure of leadership in the company. It's a failure of strategic leadership in the company. So how do you have that conversation?
I mean, see, tech refresh is part of part of thing. You cannot go away with that. Primarily because both software and hardware upgrades bring a lot of functionality in, right? But again, I would again circle back to this point itself, that hardware needs to be refreshed. I mean, it's end of life, it wears out, you would have to do that, right? But for any software which you want to do, it again boils down to whatever the new features I'm incorporating, are they helpful for me or not?
Right.
Right?
Right.
You want to put in your money, then you
Yeah.
would want to put in your efforts to upgrade the systems. Does this bring that kind of value?
Yeah.
Right? So those are the conversations I have with my clients as well, right? I mean, if there's an update which is there, it necessarily is maybe useful for you or maybe not.
Okay. Let's go back to you, Dr. Trina. When you were hiring your IT company, the tech people to help you, did they do an assessment?
Yeah, they
Okay.
didn't have a choice but to do an assessment because my system had crashed. I was freaking out, thought I had lost all of my data. So when they were able to retrieve it, of course they were my savior, right? I'm like, oh God, thank you. So I immediately had to go ahead and do an assessment as to why, the system crashed and what do you need to put in place. And the company that I'm currently working with, I'm really grateful for them because they work after hours. And for entrepreneurs, we need people to not say to us, we only work from 8 to 6. Well, I'm working from 8 to 6. I need you to work from 7 to 12. Well, what are you talking about? Like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. You should know how this works. I'm not the commonality. I'm not the common person. So I need special privileges, and that's what we do as founders. We want to have you guys work outside of that. And I found a company that says, okay, Dr. Trina, we're going to do it for you.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a saying there which says that if world is working, IT is sleeping. But if IT is working, world is sleeping because systems are not working.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what we need you to do. Absolutely.
That's not the calls any of us want to get. That's not the call any of us want to get. The systems aren't working for some reason. So what about you? Do you do assessment?
Yeah, we do it all the time. I mean, primarily that is one of our core business models as well, right? So what it comes from is, why we founded this is, probably there are people who are just there to do box selling, right? Nobody is solving a problem for a client, right? So that's what we do, a lot of consulting engagements, we do a lot of business engagement, business analysis as well. And yes, then we come out with the solutions as to what could be the approach. So yeah, we do it all the time.
I have a really good question when I go in and do an assessment. Do you know every application your employees are using?
So assessment for us is from the overall workflows perspective, not from the application side of things. So what we do assessments is from networks, data center, security, and cloud.
Right.
How are they configured? How are they integrated? And what are the backup failure mechanisms in place?
Right.
So those kind of assessments we do to make sure the lights are always on.
That's good.
Yeah, so for our assessments, we're usually working with executives, small and medium businesses, right? So I'll ask them that question. I'll ask them, do you know?
We don't know that. We don't know the answer
Yeah, exactly.
to that. We don't.
Right.
That's not our
Right.
job. Like, we don't know what's working.
Do you know what AI your employees are using?
No, we don't know
Exactly.
any of those answers.
Right.
We have no clue.
So that's where tech can get really bad because you don't know where your data is.
Right.
You don't know what your employees are using. And you want to know how hard it is to tell a founder that they need to rein that in and they need to choose applications that are for the business.
Right.
That's a fun conversation to have, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
Because again, I don't want to blame employees because it's not employees' fault. They're just trying to get their job done.
That's right.
Right, and that creates complications inside the business. It's still a failure of leadership at the top. So I just want everybody out there to understand that as a founder, you need to have somebody that you trust for technology that's going to help you have a strategy, help you have a roadmap, help you manage this debt because eventually the debt bomb goes off.
Yeah.
And you don't want that debt bomb to go off.
Yeah, especially if, AI it's not going anywhere, right? And
Absolutely.
we just have to educate ourselves on it, and we're constantly running from it, right? So if we don't know what our employees are doing, just like you said, they could utilize anything. And with my situation, I have to be in compliance, right? I'm dealing with HIPAA-based information. I'm dealing with people's lives, right? So I can't afford to have that kind of risk. So I do need to bring it in, and that is why I have to have these quarterly meetings with my people, because they have to do a whole system analyzation. They run this whole check and see what's been ran and who is looking at sites that they don't need to be looking at, and all the things, that they do for me. And I'm forever grateful, because we have to be in compliance, and people trust us. So in order for them to trust us, we have to have those things in place.
Yeah, because you end up in the news because you had a data leak or something like that.
No, we're going to end up in the news for nothing like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't want to be in the news for that. That's
No.
That would be an expensive news as well.
Absolutely.
Although, a little off topic, some people are becoming numb to it.
No.
They see it so much that they're becoming numb to it, and that's actually a dangerous precedent to set.
Yeah.
So, Rohit, how often do you deal with legacy systems when with customers because you're in like the modernization world, right? So you want to modernize things. How often do customers come to you with legacy systems that you have to then modernize?
Quite a bit. I mean, there are two aspects to it in what we do. One is visibility, right? You need to know what is going on before you take an action on top of it, right? So I would say, to start with, a lot of organizations, they don't even have that kind of visibility as to what the applications are being used, right? And then there are controls on top of it, right? So that is what we try to tell our clients as well. Again, that in fact, before buying into anything, to protect, first have a visibility as to what your users are using.
Right.
And from what they're using, what is the data they are transferring. And once you have that kind of visibility, then you have the actual controls in place, right? So from tech perspective, there are a lot of options to do that. I'll give you a very small example. You can have chat working in ChatGPT, but you cannot do any uploads or downloads, right? So that kind of controls are there.
Yeah.
But again, it's a function of the workflow which you want to build, right? So you first need to have a visibility in place, and then you have to have that controls.
How do you get leadership to buy in on those controls?
I mean, fear.
Well, it's not even fear.
Yeah.
No, see, it's.
Everybody's scared of me.
Not
Don't be scared of me. Don't be afraid of me.
Right. See, the compliances and efficiency, and obviously the risks are far greater. So everybody understands that, I believe. People who are sitting here, they all understand that. It's just that how do they implement it is what important.
That's right.
Well, one of the things I've found with businesses is the top doesn't understand what the bottom is doing. And what I mean by that, they're doing the work, but maybe leadership doesn't understand what they're using to do the work. So one of the things that we do is, it's not our culture, right, when we come in there, but we have to try to help the people that are doing the work align with the strategy at the top, which is really weird because that should be their job. But a lot of times that doesn't happen. So when we come in, a lot of times we work with the individuals that are doing the work and then work with leadership to kind of meet in the middle. Because that's like so important. It just doesn't happen.
Yes.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's very important as well. Yeah.
So what's the biggest mistake you've seen a company make when they tried to fix their tech debt?
I mean, it's a long list, honestly speaking. I mean, it's, again, my personal view as to how people approach things. It could be right for them. It might not be the right approach for me, is what I would say. But again, what I would say is that, as I said in the beginning, having systems in place which are in silos, I think that's the biggest sin, right? You need to have systems working together as one single machine, instead of people, different technologies working in different silos. And I think that's the biggest mistake which I can see, our biggest sin, in my opinion. You are spending so much dollars, you're spending so much efforts, you're spending so much efforts training the team, but what's the point if the systems are not talking to each other at all?
That's right.
Then there's the opposite end of the spectrum. There's people that look at their tech debt and they just have inaction. They don't make a decision.
Yeah.
And that's actually arguably worse than going too fast.
Yeah, that's always there as well, right? I mean, they say, this is my decision, I would live with it.
Right.
In the end, what would happen is the organization has the debt overall.
That's right. That's right.
I just did a prospect meeting a few months ago with a company that they're worth like $25 million. They have things that are running from like 15 years ago, and the owner doesn't want to make a decision.
Yeah.
Which, once you go through that, it's like you're like a week away from not having a business if this fails,
Right.
and they still don't make a decision.
Right.
Don't be that person. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think in being a founder, that's one of our biggest weaknesses. We have to be open to listening. Like, we have a
100%.
problem with listening, right? I'm saying we have a problem with listening. We have to listen. We don't know everything. I know it's our company. I know, we've built this from the sweater off of our bra. However, if we could fix our tech problem, we wouldn't need them. We wouldn't need you guys. So being that we cannot, we need to listen. We need to listen to what you're saying. And I am definitely a dinosaur. I do not want to give up the PC on top of my desk. Do not tell me that I cannot write in my calendar. I know I can put it in my phone. I know I want to write it down. Don't know. But at the end of the day, we have to change. Right? The world is changing, and we have to change. Because if not, like you said, it's going to cost us. Now, I have been through it costing me systems down for 48 hours, and I'm telling you, I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
I thought that, this is just going to be the death of me. Like, something has to happen. Like, why are you guys going home? Don't go home. I'm going to buy you food. What do you need? Like, everybody's having a monster drink because you're going to stay. You're not leaving. Like, what do you mean? But I could have saved myself a lot of money.
Yeah.
I could have saved myself a lot of time by just listening.
And imagine if somebody told you it was going to be 10 days.
I don't know what would happen. The Lord
Yeah.
would just have to come and just get me now. You know what I mean? Like, let's just come now. Because that would be just a nightmare. It would be a nightmare.
And imagine this in a financial organization.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, or manufacturing, where every minute down.
Yeah. Or a service provider. One of our clients
How much
is
would
a
that
service
cost?
provider.
Every minute down would be how much?
Mid-sized manufacturers, thousands of dollars an hour. So
$1,000 per hour. We're not
Thousands. It could be
thousands.
Thousands, yeah. That's how big it is. Yep.
Per
hour.
hour.
Yeah.
10 days.
Yep.
In financial sector, the downtime is calculated in minutes,
Yeah.
not in hours.
Well, especially if they're doing like investing or anything like that. That's I don't want to be part of that conversation.
We don't say that the systems were down for 24 hours or 48 hours. We say it was down for 2 minutes. And we have to answer
I'm sweating
that.
up here. Like, this is torture. Like, I cannot even imagine the money that's being lost. But because we're not listening.
Yeah, but I think our industry has to change too when we are working with founders more often than that, because a lot of times IT cybersecurity companies, they want to be the department of no, and you don't want to hear no.
Right.
Right? So we have to adjust to being the department of yes, but.
Okay.
And then give you the but. The but is we can do this, but it's going to take this.
Yeah.
Right? And traditionally, and I think you've probably experienced this too, a lot of times it's just no. Like IT tries to say no, cybersecurity tries to say no. That doesn't work. The business still has to function.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. I mean, see, the problem with that is, in my view, is IT has always been a cost center, right? It's a cost to a business. People don't realize it takes a robust IT to run a business, right? And I believe that's where those conversations come from.
You also don't make revenue if IT's down
You're not
either.
making revenue.
So
That's the problem.
Yeah,
Like, how do I-
cost center on both sides, right?
Dead center.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and that's probably the overarching conversation here is when you let tech debt get too bad, like fixing that is a monumental task.
Yeah,
And you can't just do it overnight.
correct.
It's going to take, sometimes it can take months, sometimes it can take years.
Yes.
So,
Years.
yeah. Do we want to,
There's no rip and replace in this case. You have to gradually
Yeah.
build something.
yeah, you don't want to rip the Band-Aid off. That's,
Yeah.
I think it's a little,
Go slow, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what, do you have anything that else you want to talk about with tech debt? Because we can take some questions.
Precaution, sorry?
No, we could take questions from the audience.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. You guys have any questions?
Open to questions, definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
So primarily, it is a roadmap. As I said, you cannot rip the Band-Aid off, right? Sometimes those are monolithic structures as well. So it's a phased manner approach always. If there's something which is running, obviously it's solving some purpose, right? So you build a parallel system to it, move your users, train them to that parallel system, and then take it up from there. So it's always a phased approach. It depends how big the data is, how big the organization is, how big the adoption for the users is in that organization. It's all function of that. I mean, in my line, the favorite, one of the most things which I use is it depends, right? But yes, it has always to be a phased manner approach. Could be 6 months, could be years as well.
It's always fun trying to figure out, because you also have to work with leadership to figure out like how fast do they want it, how fast can they move, like what's the impact of the business as we make this change. So sometimes it could be extended because they can't move that fast, or they want to move too fast, so you got to pump the brakes. Like, whoa, this
You would end up breaking something else.
Yeah, let's look at the impact of what this is going to have on your business if we do this way.
Right.
Because I've had some horror stories. We had a company, we migrated to the cloud, and we showed up on site to one of the locations, and they never told them we were coming. Imagine that awkward conversation. So don't do that.
Yes.
Communicate inside the business, let people know, get everybody involved. I think it's the biggest thing is everybody needs to be involved in the business, the people doing the work to leadership to really plan this out properly.
Right. What we've done is that we try to utilize the time around people's vacations when they typically will take a vacation, right? So, okay, Dr. Trina, we're going to have to bring the systems down for 3 days. And of course, I'm like, okay, you guys.
IT is working.
That is not, we don't need 3 days, but okay, let me just wrap my brain around that, right?
Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll utilize spring break, okay? Not only for them, but for us. We need to reset, right? We need to reset, we need to take a break, and we never take breaks, right? Because I'm always like, okay, well, how many days do you need? 5? Do you really think you can do it in 4? I mean, like, I'm just asking a question, just to, because we don't want anybody to, like, take totally off. But if we can just take all the spring break off, that's for everybody. People can enjoy their families, they can plan, they come back rejuvenated. The staff, the bottom part of the staff that we probably don't talk a lot to but need to do more with, we can plan team building activities during that time frame. So it's very healthy for everyone. Christmas break is another time that we can plan for our systems to be down because I want them working. Why are they taking off Christmas break? They don't need Christmas break off. Right? We need it off.
Hold on,
right?
Slow down. IT people need breaks too.
They can take it off when we're working, right? So this is why, picking out a great IT company, like I have just been so blessed, is definitely, the way to go because they just make it work for everybody. Of course, nobody's going to be working on Christmas Day, but it just works.
It's all about partnerships.
Absolutely.
Right? If you can't hire somebody internally to be a CIO or even a CISO, go fractional. Go out and find a company that can provide that to you.
That's right.
What do you think, Rohit?
Yes, definitely. I agree 100%. Yeah. I'm sorry. There's a question.
Oh,
there.
question. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dr. T. Maurice Fowler, author and CEO of Fowler Media Group. I have a question.
Yeah.
For founders, how would disruption factor into all that we do? How are you talking about, How would disruption, how do you plan for that?
Yeah.
How do you plan for like unintended disruption or
anticipating disruption, like you have a business,
Right.
and all of a sudden COVID hits, and this ties in with agile leadership to a degree.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
We went through this. So most of our companies, we had already built in remote work to a point.
Okay.
And if you weren't thinking about remote work before pandemic, well, congratulations, you were then. To me, it's all about the strategy and the leadership and where the business is, right? Certain businesses can be remote, some can't. Some can be partially remote. That comes down to leadership at the top. What do they accept?
Right.
So if you accept that people can work remote, which do you let people work remote?
Yeah, we're definitely virtual since COVID.
Yeah.
We do first business is definitely straight counseling, right? So we're in front of people and we're looking in your face and we want to see your body language and everything else. When COVID hit, mental health went up as well. So we
Right.
didn't have a choice but to go virtual, and we could not stop,
Right.
right? So my IT guys were just so amazing because they kicked in because our platform wasn't big enough to hold the number of calls that we were getting.
Right.
So they had to go into action quickly. We could not stop. We had to keep going. We had to keep building. We had to keep adding team members onto the platform. And we just have predominantly remained 100%. We're not 100% virtual. I want to say that we're about 90% virtual.
Nice.
But we're not going to go back. IT's not going away.
Right.
AI is not going away.
Exactly.
Virtually is not going
Exactly.
away. But we do provide services for those who want to still have face-to-face services.
Thank you.
I'll add to that a little bit. Let's say it's a cybersecurity incident. We're talking about tech debt here, and the more debt you have, the bigger risk you have of cybersecurity. Have an incident response plan. Know who you're going to contact. Have your lawyer on staff if you can, your insurance, everything like that. Know who you're going to contact, and know exactly what you're going to do. Don't be emotional, because you're going to be emotional during that time. So you want to plan a checklist, everything to go through that, and then practice it. Please practice it. It's called a tabletop exercise. Sit down with your leadership team, sit down with your employees, and practice that plan. Just run through a fake incident and make sure that, yeah, because you don't want to do that during a live incident, because then that becomes a different problem.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Great. Sir, you had a question?
Sure.
And also now run a boutique consulting firm. So we are an SI partner as well. One of the ways I try to communicate what a tech debt is kind of lean in more into the debt part of it. So most business owners or business partners understand the idea of a debt. Right? You want to acquire some asset. You may not have the capital today to acquire that. So you go incur a debt. But that comes at a cost. You're paying interest on your debt.
Yeah.
You obviously, it makes financial, it's prudent to pay off the debt as early as possible. But there are reasons, legitimate reasons, why you would not be able to do that. And so you make a business decision to say, I'm going to have an interest expense to acquire the, for that debt, right? So the technology part is very, very similar. You make some short-term decisions. It could be because you have a speed-to-market requirement. I need to release something in the next 2 months. I cannot afford to wait
Right.
to do this in the best possible, most secure way. And I'm willing to accept that risk. And so that becomes a business decision. But then managing that debt
Yeah.
is like how quickly do you pay off the interest? That's the second part of that. So I find that using that as an analogy helps make that decision. And instead of like there was discussion about IT being a cost center, all of that, right? And so using this, leaning into the debt part of it, it kind of, I think it helps drive that conversation a lot easier. Just want to
Well,
Yeah.
and also use interest as credit card interest. Don't use it as like what you get on a loan, right? So, because make sure that we're talking 26, 27% for some of this tech debt. Because again, as you collect the debt more and more, when that bomb goes off, the impact to the business is much bigger.
Maybe some addition from my side, from the European side and the German side, because in that moment where COVID happened, I worked as a director for marketing and communication for a Nasdaq company, so it was a kind of a interesting thing. And the question was really good, you said, because the disruptive thing happened exactly there. And my advice as a leader is only keep the communication transparent. Keep your employees informed about everything, because otherwise the rumors going up and up and up, and anxiety is rising up. So keep your employees informed, no matter which crisis are you facing. That's just my only advice at that side. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good point. Communication's really key here.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories about tech debt? I have one, if you want to hear it.
Not I could think of, but sir, to add to your point, right? I'll just say, in finance, there was a debt, right, for core banking. A lot of people carried that debt for a long time, but that was a business decision. You cannot move away from that systems because compliances and regulations would not move away from that, right? So the conversations what we are trying to have here in my mind is what you could avoid, right? What you could not avoid becomes a business decision, right? And that's where we end that conversation, I believe, right? What we are more talking about is the unconscious spend you do, which is impulsive, which is not integrated, which is in silos, which we should avoid.
Oh, I like the word silo. Have you worked with companies that they would just buy tools inside of departments?
That would?
They would buy tools inside of departments. There was no oversight at all. People would just buy tools to do their job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I work with one of the ISPs in India, one of the biggest ones. So security has their own set of tools. So it's basically it's a mammoth organization. Different departments runs as independent companies within the organization. That's how it is. And the same problem which I was talking, that each department would have their own set of tools. In fact, they would even have overlapping tools, right? A department A might have some tool, department B might have the same tool, not talking to each other.
Which costs them money too, especially when you have overlapping tools.
And loss of productivity and visibility as well.
Yeah. Do you know where the data is, right? If they're using 5 different tools, who's overseeing that?
See, that is where the gap is. That is where actually the gap is.
We work with companies to try to get a list of tools. That's not always possible. But man, some of the stuff that people try to install is epic. We had a guy try to install a 3D printer application the other day on his work laptop. What are you doing with your work laptop that you're trying to 3D print? This is not in a manufacturing facility or anything like that. It was just some random guy that was trying to do 3D printing. So, but we know that. We can relay that to leadership and actually have that conversation. If you don't know that,
That's personal.
yeah. What about, let's talk about governance, right? We talked about strategy, we talked about road mapping. What does that really look like? How long do you think a roadmap should be for a company, for technology in a company? How long do you think you should roadmap for?
The roadmap for governance?
Just for technology, like overall strategy and technology.
I mean, governance needs to be always on.
Right.
You cannot skip that piece. I mean, it has to be a continuous integration, development, and assessment cycle.
I don't think you should roadmap technology longer than 3 years, but I think 12 months is probably more apt to like where businesses are, right? So the problem is technology changes so fast, it's hard to really roadmap that out.
I need it a little bit more because what's happening is that we're trying to pivot, right? And when we're pivoting, we're looking at trends, right? So we can't stay stagnant for 12 months, at least not in the second part of the business in which I'm doing with the entrepreneurs, because it's forever changing, right? So the concepts are changing, the views are changing, the target audiences are changing. So it's moving. So 12 months is going to be too long. And I guess that's why I'm now meeting with them quarterly, right?
Absolutely.
To try to pivot to make sure we're doing everything that we need to do. So we're meeting the matrix so that our bottom line can just yield more.
Well, it's forcing you to make a decision.
It's forcing me.
By design.
It's by design, and I hate it. But you know what? I'm doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to answer this, but do you allow personal devices to be used?
I do.
Oh, okay. This conversation's over. Never mind.
I do. Because you know what? There's the education piece. There's a training piece, right?
I'm going to really scare you in a minute.
Oh, here we go. Oh, my goodness. There's a training piece. And this is what I'm just going to say I do it for creators, right? People who are doing creative things. And because that's a whole way of thinking that a lot of people don't understand, right? So if they're creative and they're in their spaces and they need to utilize these tools and I don't have those tools and I don't understand those tools, don't wait for me to catch up. Don't wait for me to catch up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and utilize those. Go ahead and implement that because you are in alignment with what it is that we're doing. Now, if you're over there doing some 3D printer stuff, like, no, we need to have a conversation.
What about you?
No, I 100% agree. Yeah, I mean, being a tech guy, I love doing this all the time. But I think there needs to be a boundary with respect to what is work-related, what is personal, right? And as long as we have that boundary in place, either through logical systems in place or through virtual boundaries of data segregation, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to talk about is data. Where does your data reside?
Exactly, yes.
Right. Personal devices are very dangerous. Because what do people do on personal devices? Personal things.
Of course.
That you don't control.
You're right.
I agree. I mean, see, there's one thought on this which comes to my mind right now is that even if you allow this for creative purposes, let's say, you do have technology to do containerization within an individual's machine as well, right? Prime example is you could wipe out a whole machine remotely as well, right, in case of a breach and all. So, I mean, I believe it's more like personal. I allow this in my organization. I mean, you are working on an engineering project. It's a hobby. It's a personal project. I encourage that, right? So, I believe it's more like a business decision thing. But what needs to be the sacrosanct thing here is that the data needs to be, the business data needs to be secure.
Yeah, that's protected. Like, if you are doing something as far as the creative capacity is concerned, there's no need for you to understand the number of clients that we saw that day. Like, you don't need to know how much they were billed. You don't need to know their address. You don't need to know anything. And the IT department, the security department that we have, that you have to have these codes, right, to get in if you want to get into that system. So they don't have codes because you don't need to get over here. Like, why do you need to be over here? You just need to be creating
You're
things.
letting them use public information, basically, because it's marketing information.
It's marketing stuff.
Right. It's not confidential. It's not private.
No, never.
And that's a big distinction.
Yeah, we have to, but we pay extra for that.
Yeah, you
that
do.
firewall there.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys call it?
No,
we pay extra for all of those security measures.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we like to charge for.
Now, is that extra stuff we're not supposed to be paying for? Because I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
No, definitely, yes. You need to pay.
You need to pay more, actually.
Exactly, more.
Yeah, definitely more. So I think as we kind of get to the end of this, we kind of wrap this up. We've had a good conversation. Like, you weren't even on this panel before, so this is pretty cool because we get to talk about your business and the things that you've had to. I'm sorry that you had to suffer through. I guess we shouldn't be happy about that.
I don't know why you put me on here.
But it's been a good way to kind of add to this because talking about tech debt for 45 minutes is fun with a live participant.
With a live, founder.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we had a use case in front of us through which we could bounce off our ideas. Yeah, that helped a lot.
I'll leave you guys with a story. So we got involved with a company that was formed from private equity. They bought two pieces of another company and just tried to throw a new company together. So they had money, but they also bought a significant amount of tech debt. Yep. So it was a crazy amount of tech debt. And we had to come in there and talk to leadership, and they were full on board. It was a cool conversation to have with them. But we had to plan for about 4 months before we even made a move. And this also was a company that didn't tell the people were showing up, so challenges. But we were able to actually take that company, move them to a cloud environment in about 30 days from the time that we got through with planning. And we revolutionized the way they were. They were able to move fast from there. They were actually moved faster than they were before because we got rid of that. And they actually sold for, was it 5 years later? They sold for something like 10x what they actually bought the company for.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about tech debt, you also think about how you're going to scale your business. That's kind of like what this whole thing is. How fast can you move?
Yeah.
I like you as an example because you're now being forced into it, but you understand that you have to have those conversations. And that's really part of it. Have the conversation, communicate with your staff, communicate with your employees, and make sure that you understand it, because ultimately you're accountable,
That's right.
right? You're accountable too. I'm accountable to my team
Yeah.
too.
That's true. That's true. 100%. I mean, being a business owner and then doing in consulting, it takes a lot of ownership. You do take that kind of ownership on you, and yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort in that space to. Yeah, I just went into a different thought tangent.
No, I think everybody has tech debt. I don't think that's really debatable. It's really the question you want to ask yourself is, what's it costing you?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So I'd like to thank Dr. Trina right here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where can we find you?
Sorry.
Where can we find you? Somebody wants to connect with you. LinkedIn?
I can leave my cards here.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Okay. So, we have a website, Identiqa.tech. That's the name of my organization, and you could find us on LinkedIn by name of Identiqa Technologies. Right. That's where you could reach us. Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm Dr. Trina. You can find us at www.life, L-I-F-E, the number 4, alife.com. That's lifeforalife.com, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram, and just, it's my name. That's it, Dr. Trina Wilson.
And I'm Chris Burns. You can find me on LinkedIn if you look up Techie Gurus, or you can go to techiegurus.com. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining. This is awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.